blood flowing through our veins. Sitting in the bleachers in the rain. We've shed a million tears and drank as many old style beers out at the game. Let's go, Cubby, Ranto, Ranto and the lovable losers. Ranto and the lovable losers. Ranto.
Tring spraining.
We are back, everybody. Cubs baseball.
It's baseball season.
Baseball season.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Oh.
Happy New Year to old acquaintance be. Oh, God. I mean, I am drinking out of a candy cane mug, so it does feel holiday and festive.
I was so happy to watch that game today. It was insane. I watched Dodgers and Padres the other day just because I was like, oh my God, there's a baseball game on.
And now there's a Son Ranto show on, and welcome to it. My name's Danny Rocket, and this show is brought to you by the Bleacher Bunch on the Fans First Network, and especially our 109 Patreon supporters. Thank you very much to those of you that support us here on the Son Ranto show. We would not be doing this show without you. Also, our special sponsors, Matt Kammer and Permanent Paintings. Find his incredible work on Etsy and on the walls of infield fly girl Michael Cotton, and the room I'm currently in, but you can't see it, actually has maybe I'll turn my guy here a little bit. You could see there's I don't want to mess anything up. There's the Javi on the wall.
Oh, there it is.
I'm in my nephew's bedroom in Carlsbad, California, and there's the other Javi on the wall on the side. So unfortunately, his favorite player for the Cubs is still Javi Baez because the Cubs have not made a new player for him to enjoy. But
you should introduce him to Christopher Morel.
Oh, I'm giving it a shot. He lost.
You know what? I think he's going to get introduced to him this year. So
yeah, we'll get all into that. But not only is our show brought to you by Matt Kammer and his Permanent Paintings, but also In the Clutch shirts. I'm wearing my brand new "We Need More Cups" shirt from In the Clutch, and a brand new In the Clutch shirt has launched. And, you've got it In the Clutch on today too. The Shy Feds, nice.
Yep.
I
was for opening spring training day. I had to put on the Shy Feds.
Very nice.
Check this out. We are launching this one tonight, which it's the Take a Chance shirt, which I think is. I love it too, and this is a Son Ranto show creation. You can get 10% off of this shirt if you put the code Son Ranto, and
I am absolutely
$3.
I'm absolutely going to buy one of those. I was going to buy one earlier today, but I just didn't get around to it. But my youngest son, his middle name is Chance after Frank Chance. So his birthday is coming up in April. So he
buy him
will be getting
too.
one of those. That's what I'm saying. I'm getting him one for his birthday. And obviously he doesn't listen to this show ever. So I can just say it.
Yeah, he's had enough of his father, I'm sure. Patrick Levy reminds me that not only do we have Frank Chance shirts, we have Frank Chance postcard giveaway where you can win a message of love and doom sent to you by me and on a Frank Chance postcard. So hashtag Chance in the chat, and you could win that. And we're also brought to you by our super duper ranchers, Blake Beard's tickets. If you're looking for tickets down the third baseline, Rogue Wave Creative,
and we all will be.
And Mike Waller and the Cubs PS Plus podcast. Yeah, those tickets just went up in value with looking at Christopher Morel's butt the whole time. In those,
you're really looking at his butt.
Yeah, exactly. You'll hear the crack of the bat and see the crack of the third baseman. We'll see who's swinging the big bat.
To that point, from Dick's Brewing, I'm drinking Dick's Cream Stout in my, which you can see clearly through my Wrigley Field glass that's nearly as transparent as our boys' trousers.
Wow, a Dick's Cream Stout. It sounds wonderful and dirty all at once, and those are two of my favorite things: is wonderful and dirty.
What are you drinking, Michael? You got anything?
I am rocking the Outlook Good Surly Hoppy Pale. It is a non-alcoholic hoppy pale ale because I am still trying to lose weight and trying to be good on my alcohol for the month. Setting up for my birthday month in March. Then I'll just ruin everything that I've done this month. So
then we get to take more pictures of you with your head on the bar. So, or on your wife's shoulder, as this year's calendar will show everybody. And by the way, calendars in the mail, getting in the mail. But my wife, we got to thank everybody. Thank Nicole because she's the one sending them. They didn't come on time, where I could send them out because I left and I'll be at spring trading. I mean, in San Diego, I'll be in spring trading on Monday. But Nicole is stuffing all those envelopes and sending them all out. So I owe her a big one because that's a lot of envelopes to stuff. But the calendar should be there on time to see the picture of Michael Cotton next month with his head on the bar. So,
Santo Claus drunk at Nice.
So did I leave it? Oh, yeah. I left out Mike Wall and the Cubs PS Plus podcast because we are sponsored by that incredible show. And I'm sure he'll have a lot to say about the start of spring training, just like we do. So let's get into it. There was a Cubs game today. And Craig Counsell must have just like watched all the Son Ranto shows from last year to figure out what kind of lineup would make us personally happy.
And then he did it.
He did it. And everything that we've been dreaming of through the entire David Ross's era, like maybe not the whole Ross era. I think, it just kind of was a little, kind of spiral down the drain with David Ross for me. But last year was really, when I finally went down the drain and didn't like it anymore. But Ian Happ led off. Let's just start there. We were like, hey,
he wasn't hitting third.
He wasn't in third.
And he did exactly what a leadoff hitter does.
He got a base.
Yeah.
And then what happened?
And then Christopher Morel, who we've been wanting to play third base, not only was in the lineup as the starting third baseman, but then he hit a home run with Ian Happ on base. That was incredible. He wasn't batting ninth with nobody on. It was insane. Oh, I was so excited. And then what else happened? There was Matt Mervis played. He did. He got picked off at first base.
I mean, who else would? We don't have another first baseman.
I have a theory about how he got picked off as a runner at first base.
He's slow?
Well, that is a good explanation. I think maybe he thought he was playing first base. So he got confused. He's like standing in the same position that a first baseman would play. And he's like, "Oh wait, that's right. I'm not the first baseman. I'm the runner. I gotta run back." He was getting ready to catch the ball or something.
So I had the good fortune of listening to Steve Stone call this game. I was listening to the White Sox podcast, and they actually said, whoever that pitcher was, they thought that Mervis may have thought he had balked, because the way that his move goes, and they were showing it a lot on that broadcast, and yeah, it's real close to a foot going forward, but that move that guy has, that left-hander, was pretty wicked. Nobody else let off like that afterwards.
What else happened in this game? Speaking of left-handed pitchers, the Cubs actually had quite a few left-handed pitchers that pitched in this game. Here, let me put up the box score because we didn't have any lefties last year. Remember, none on the team. And this year, they threw out Lovelady. We saw Dick Lovelady. He got into the game. He had a couple Ks
and looked good, Mr. Lovelady.
Yeah,
I swear to God, if he hits the major league squad, it will be the fastest I've ever bought a jersey in my life.
And then we had Bailey Horn, another lefty that pitched as well. So it was just nice to see these guys. Jordan Wicks started this game. He looked pretty good. I mean, it's hard to always tell what they're working on and stuff like that. But, it's nice to see Jordan Wicks get out there and like right up front. They're like, we're having a fifth starter competition and Jordan Wicks is in it. And here's how we're going to start spring. This guy's going to get every chance to show us what he's got at the start of the game. And he looked pretty good. Looked like he was getting tired. Like, maybe by the second inning, he made an error on a play, and he actually made like 2 errors on the same play. He missed the ball, and then he tried to pick it up, and he dropped that. Yeah. But a little PFP maybe he needs. But
and they were talking a little bit too on the broadcast. He went out there and he pitched good in the first inning, and then he had a long wait before he got a chance to go back out there. And whereas, maybe later on in the season, that's not as big a deal, but the very first game, it's, he got up there, worked out, and then went and sat down for, I don't know, a good 25 minutes while the Cubs just kept rounding the bases.
Yeah, they batted around.
Yeah.
So, and it was just nice to have it on. Like the game started at noon here on Pacific time. I finished up some work and like put that thing on. I almost took a baseball nap too, but the game actually went fast and I didn't get a chance to. But yeah, Cubs put up 6 runs in the first inning. You get Ian Happ getting on, Morel hitting the home run, Amaya batting third, which had people freaking out. They're like, he's not a third hitter. I'm like, oh, Cubs fans, midseason form. The fact that Mervis got a start at first base was a good sign that the Cubs did not indeed give up on him like we all thought that they did all winter long. You saw all of the prospects. Alcantara, Canario was in there. Chase Strumpf. We got to see the new guy, Shaw. Shaw played second base, and he had a. Did he have a double or was that a single? He had 2 hits though. He went 2 for 3. I mean, just everything just looked like it was clicking, and the Cubs just came out swinging, and it was against the hated White Sox, who only had 4 hits and 1 run. Cubs had 9 hits, 8 runs. I mean, I don't want to make too much of it, but we're going 162-0 this year. I could feel it in my bones.
I'm telling you, this is the start of the championship party right now. February 23rd. We're going to party until whatever, November 27th or whatever the damn season goes to now. But we are in it.
Thanksgiving Day. The other thing I really liked about today's game, and I would love you guys to weigh in on this, because in how it relates to Bellinger, which we'll talk about in the second part of the show and what's going on with the roster right now. But PCA coming out with the blue hair, which I mean, I can't say it looks good. I
actually have experience with having blue hair like this, and it looks good for about 3 or 4 days. And then it starts to fade, and it gets that sort of greenish, and you've really got to keep up with it. So that the blue does not stick around very long for very much, but
well, it might stick around a little bit longer on PCA because he's paler than I am, and I'm not a dark-skinned person. And let me tell you, on hair that light, those wild colors, ask my son, who's still growing out purple, that he dyed his hair 4 or 5 years ago. That stuff sticks around for a while.
Well, if you remember during the pandemic, I dyed my hair blue, and my hair was very long at the time, so it looked crazy. It was just this long, straight blue hair for a little bit, and then it turned green. Then I cut it all off, and then, but the thing about having blue hair like that, whatever hotel that guy's staying at in Mesa right now is pissed off, because every day when they come to redo his room, he's giving them blue pillowcases. He is ruining pillowcase after pillowcase after pillowcase. It's all in the shower there.
The thing for me though, like he's a very, very pale person, and like even his like eyebrows and eyelashes are very, very pale. And so you got like that really dark blue hair comparatively, for him, it's really a dark color. So I think what we really need to do is get somebody to give PCA a nice little tube of blue mascara.
That would be cool.
Just even it out. You got to even out the facial features.
And you need actually some eyeshadow. You need to go deep, like 80s eyeshadow look, like almost get into some Tammy Faye Baker territory. Let's draw on some eyebrows.
Oh, you're going Tammy Faye Baker. See, I was thinking just like every 1980s hairband. He's got the figure for it. He could, and the tight pants. I'm telling you, he could grow that hair out and be singing "Pour Some Sugar on Me."
Well, I tell you, his speed in this game was a real game changer, and that's what cow. And you know how that idea of like speed never slumps, and those kind of maxims about speed.
They say that until they turn like 32.
Yeah, not even. But with the bigger bases, with the new balk moves, and the pitchers only being able to throw over a few times, I really feel like having somebody like PCA on this team is going to be incredibly disruptive. And I'm not saying I don't want Cody Bellinger to be the starting center fielder on opening day. I still think that's a pretty good idea. But like to have somebody that like PCA who can come in late in the game, who can steal a base for you, who can be a plus WAR player in the field, probably a future Gold Glover if it keeps going like this. I mean, it's just if you have both those guys, it would be so valuable. But seeing PCA play and hit today, well, I know it was off the ghost of Jesse Chavez, but who's on his 10th and seemingly final team in the major leagues after this performance we saw today.
Well, let's talk a minute about PCA and what you're saying. You're saying is speed. I
believe I just did.
But for people who did not see this game, we are going to explain here real quick. If you can imagine, he hit a flare into right center field. Okay. That is a single. It's always been a single. It's just a single. Nobody goes to second on that ball. And he hit a double on a nothing burger. Like that ball was not hit hard. It was literally a flare out for nothing. And maybe he caught the guys sleeping. Like they didn't think he was going to go to second, but he absolutely trucked it to second. And everybody was just kind of shocked. Like, oh my God, we thought he was going to be at first. And then there was a ground ball hit to third base. He was on second and he scored on that ball. Yeah. You don't score on balls to third base. You might not even run, but he was just like flying around those bases. So yeah, that's what we're talking about. So if you did not get to see this game, and unfortunately there aren't highlights of him running, I looked for them. Maybe somebody has it on Twitter or something, but the Cubs don't have it. But yeah, it's impressive to see how quickly he can move because, yeah, I mean, it's little stuff like that, like a single that's actually a double or a grounder to third that should be an out, whatever. He's at home. Like it's amazing.
It's how you win on the margins when you can take that extra base that you need. It's like when you have the speed of, let's say, somebody like Albert Almora, and you're tagging up in the World Series. It's that kind of blazing speed. Let me put the lineup back up again because I just the future is bright, folks. That's kind of what I'm taking away. You did see Brendan Davis in this game as well. Just to remind you that he was once a prospect, probably
late in the game.
Yeah, he came in, but they let the kids play. If you've been looking for that, if you've been wanted to see the way that Craig Counsell was going to run things, this is it. Not only did he, how like in spring training that oftentimes the guys will just take one at bat at first and then they're out, maybe two at bats, depending on how the game goes. Ian Happ took 3 at bats today. Not that that's going to happen every day. He's probably be off tomorrow or something like that. Morrell took 3 at bats. They were out there kind of raring to go. They seemed ready to go. and to like work it out. They were working out together. They were playing hard together. We saw the kids play like we've been wanting to. I mean, it was like all my dreams and prayers from last year have been answered.
Oh, and we actually got to see Morel. He only got one ball over there at third, but
Two.
he made. Oh, you're right. He did get two. But this whole thing about his throwing motion is too long. All that. He makes up for it with 100-mile-per-hour dart to first base. Like he just took his time out there, and it does look slow when you're watching his body, and then he fires that ball, and it gets him by a step. Like he's just not rushing, and honestly, isn't that what you want? Like you don't want a guy out there going too quick, and like picking up the ball and trying to get it going as fast as possible. He picked it up. He took his time. It looked like he was moving confidently, not fast, and then absolute bullets right across the diamond. Like, it's a totally different look than Nikki Six Steps.
I don't want to totally change the subject, but if somebody in the comments who's watching right now can turn on the Arkansas Razorbacks game right now, Hagen Smith, the lefty starter for the Razorbacks, is now through 5 scoreless innings with 15 strikeouts.
Oh, wow.
And I would like to follow this in the comments if I can. Somebody please update us on how this is going.
Yeah, and those are real games. College baseball is in action. My son went to the Oklahoma opener today.
Yeah, the Red Sox were playing a college team today. They actually gave up a
played
couple
Northwestern.
Northeastern.
This is crazy. It says every single out he has come by a strikeout, 13 of them with a slider. He's only at 66 pitches.
Oh, my God. So he's struck out everybody he's seen, is what you've said.
Everybody.
Wow.
That's insane.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Even at a college level, at any level.
Any level. Yeah. So I guess my takeaway from today, and I will extrapolate today to the rest of the season. I will, because why not? We have one game and it's the Sun Ranto show, so we go hard. But
we go hard and we go right very often by,
well,
deciding...
we were texting each other today. Like IFG, I forget your exact phrase that you said, but I'll paraphrase of just about like how everybody really always thinks that we're negative about everything, but we're just really realistic. And I just wanted like revel in this particular moment where we're really being positive about good things happening.
Yes.
Because if they would listen to us more, we wouldn't have these freaking problems.
So true. So true.
Absolutely.
We wouldn't have spent the whole first part of last year with Eric Hosmer on first base.
No, yeah. Well, we might, because we see. Yeah, sorry, put the money in the swear jar. If this is your first time tuning in, we're trying to keep the names of EH and TM off of our lips, because it's just the way that it's almost like a knee-jerk reaction of complaining. We're trying to manifest goodness this year now.
Those guys are just the epitome of what all of last year was.
Yeah, exactly. I want to put last year in the trash, because we can. It's all different.
You know what? Before we put last year in the trash, I think I need to say something. I'm sorry, Jed. I'm sorry. I said all last year, I lost it. I was like, Jed Hoyer's an idiot. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's terrible. He can't evaluate. He doesn't because I honestly thought he was pulling more strings in that clubhouse and in that dugout than apparently he was. Apparently, he was literally letting David Ross run all of that, which seems odd. Like, I don't know. Like, that just seems crazy. We thought that David Ross was having to, kiss the ring and do everything that he was told, but apparently not, because as soon as they got done with that season, they had a chance for counsel. They yank him, and now we see what's happening right off the bat. Everything that counsel is talking about all the stuff that we've been talking about for a year or more, right? And so apparently that apology was needed because I was wrong. Jed, you, I think, may have been as frustrated as I was last year, and I unfairly blamed you for all of this. So
big of you.
Look, if I find out I'm wrong,
fault.
I'm wrong. Jed, more power to you. Keep it going. Now, how about you sign somebody, you cheap motherfucker?
We'll talk about that in the second part about Tom Ricketts' comments this week. They weren't particularly heartening about the idea that we will, but I like what Joey W says in the chat here. He says we wasted lots of precious time last year dicking around. I was kind of explaining this to my nephew about Craig Counsell and what he brings to the Cubs as a manager, and I likened it to when I'm like, do you remember Joe Madden's attitude? Is what I said to him. I'm like, how Joe Madden kind of ran everything real well. The players really played hard for him, and he seemed to always make the right moves, except for that one time when he pulled Kyle Hendricks in the World Series. And
really, that was right on brand. We called him Captain Hook. He pulled everyone early.
Yeah. So that was his thing.
He lost a World Series for the Rays the same way.
Yeah. Yeah. And so but I'm like, in that same way, Joe was and still probably would be a very talented manager of people and can definitely get more out of his players than your average manager, certainly more than David Ross did. And, David Ross just did not have the experience. I'm not saying David Ross will never be a good manager, but let him be a bench coach first, for Christ's sakes. Let him ride the bus in the minor leagues like you made Sandberg do, and then you screwed him over, but at least you gave a statue in the end.
Let him coach people he didn't play with. Right? Like,
let him learn from a coach, from the perspective of somebody trying to be a coach. Like, he wasn't in a train the trainers course. He was just a catcher.
Yeah. Which we all thought would be probably a good precursor to being a decent manager. And that's why I'm not going to write David Ross off. Like, listen, I was excited when David Ross became a manager. I think we all kind of were like, this makes sense. And then it just kept getting exposed.
Well, I think I am going to write him off, but not because he couldn't have ever done it, but the same reason that sometimes they pull guys up and they're overmatched and it messes with their confidence, and they, and then they struggle, and it's a head thing more than a talent thing. And I don't know if David Ross will recover from this or if he'll even want to.
Yeah, he might be like, you know what? This job sucks.
Exactly. He's like, I was out there for 185 days straight, and everyone saw that I was doing it wrong, and they all told me about it every day.
Yeah. Well, it was a lot of fun to watch today. Hopefully we see more of this. I mean, obviously tomorrow's another day. It's the baseball season. It's just going to keep going from here on in. Have it every day, and we'll be knee-jerk reactioning to all of it. But it was certainly nice to have it back on today. Even though I did I will say this, when Mervis got picked off, I forget who was in the booth at the time, but they had Boog, JD, and it was Carter Hawkins was in the booth at the time when Mervis got picked up. So they showed Mervis getting picked up, but instead of showing a replay of what happened, so you could be like, what happened? How did he get caught sleeping? They trained back on Boog and Carter and JD sitting in the booth. And I'm like, oh, marquee mid-season form. Great job, guys. We really want to just see these middle-aged men instead of young men playing baseball.
Young men playing baseball in see-through uniforms. I mean, come on. I think we know where the camera is supposed to be pointed.
Yeah. And paying up if you don't want to get that rating. You be X-rated. So anyway, it was wonderful to have back. But why don't we take just a short break real quick, and we'll be right back. Hashtag Chance in the chat. And this is a commercial for Patreon. A reminder that after the show tonight, we will be over on the Discord, hanging out over there with the other super ranters. And tonight, I actually have a topic for us because it was a little bit of a talker around MLB, which is expansion. You see that they're looking to expand possibly I guess they said the National League. We'll talk about it over in the Discord later on tonight. But why don't you join us at patreon.com/sunranto. Become a super ranter. We'd really appreciate it. Keeps the lights on here at the podcast. And here's a commercial for it.
All over Chicagoland, there are thirsty, frazzled, overworked Cubs podcasters who are struggling to survive one more baseball season in the dog-eat-dog world of unpaid content creation. But it doesn't have to be this way. You can make a difference. Become a super ranter at patreon.com/sunranto, where your support ensures that poor, sad, pathetic, ugly, loser Cubs podcasters can pay for tickets and beer, and in turn, line the pockets of the baseball oligarch Ricketts family. Just $1 a month can buy a scorecard. $5 a month can pay for guitar strings to write a Cubs song. And $10 a month almost buys one beer at Wrigley Field. Cubs content creators are the lowest pieces of pond scum garbage that slither over the face of this planet. But super ranters help them get drunk and screw off at baseball games. What do you get out of it? The Sun Ranto Show delivered to your podcatcher without stupid advertisements like the one you're seeing and hearing right now. Plus, at other Super Ranter levels, you can get Cubs music, access to private Sun Ranto pages, the Ranter calendar, and special thanks and Ranter recognition in our live broadcasts. Plus, eligibility for monthly prizes. What does Sun Ranto get out of it? Your money. For tickets and beer. Go to patreon.com/sunranto. That's patreon.com/sunranto. And become a super ranter today. If you like the Cubs a bunch, buy your t-shirts from In the Clutch. We've got all the best styles for you. Dansby, Saya, Morel too. Clark Fly in his W. Cody Bellinger, Smoking Dukes. Vintage shirts from days of old. Patrick Wisdom and Nico. You'll look sharp wearing your stro. 10% off with the code SONRANTO. SONRANTO. InTheClutch.com is your store for the most fun baseball shirts on the planet. Don't forget to use promo code SUNRANTO to knock a couple bucks off your purchase. Stack or die, we need more cups. Get it all at In the Clutch. Cause if you like the Cubs a bunch, buy t-shirts from In the Clutch. Get it all at In the Clutch. Get it all at In the Clutch.
Okay, we are back, and we actually have a little bit of news about that ball game that we're tracking from David Elliott. Thank you for clocking this for us. Top of the sixth, the first out for OSU was a ground out. It was a close play at first. Could have called him safe to keep it rolling. But it's 16 strikeouts now. So this dude is rolling. Now, who is this pitcher?
His name is Hagen Smith. Somebody tagged me on Twitter like, hey, follow this. It's really interesting. I don't know anything about him other than that. I don't really follow college baseball, but
no,
awesome.
I can't do it because of the stupid dink of the bat. Dink. You know, it's like, it just sounds wrong to me. You need the crack.
I hear you. I just don't really have a rooting interest. I never went to college, so I never got
exactly. Me either.
The problem I have with college baseball is that I live right here, University of Iowa. I'm a Hawkeye fan. I have been to 3 games, and I have not made it through all 9 innings because it's too damn cold. Holy crap. Every time I go, it is freezing because they're playing in February and March. They're done when it starts to get warm. and it sucks.
Well, maybe that's why he's at 17 strikeouts through 6 now, because it is 23 degrees and snowing and nobody can hit. So it could be why. I'd be interested to look into it. I do want to bring up In the Clutch one more time, because not only am I wearing this incredible We Need More Cups shirt that is available right now. It was on sale for a while. If those of you guys that caught that sale, went from $20 for a while. And so I'll definitely keep my eyes peeled on that. But I wanted to point out this great new Chance shirt. If you didn't see at the beginning of the show, this is from the Sun Ranto collection, which, by the way, we're going to be adding to this whole collection. See the Chance shirt. These are some of their other shirts that they already offered, including the We Need More Cup shirt. But you can go to intheclutch.com/sunranto. And Joey loves their shirts. Yeah, I really do too. They're very comfortable, and they're form-fitting to a man of my stature. Let's just put it that way.
Exactly. They fit right. They don't grab too much in
they don't
hug
where I don't need to be hugged. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think Bernie, she was saying she bought that one. I don't know which that one is in the Swanson one, and she did use the code.
Oh, so, cool. Yeah, a couple bucks off with that code. Sun Ranto is the code. And I know IFG's really, you're excited about this. One's going to be added to our collection real soon. Within the next couple days, they're working out the kinks right now on the Mordecai Brown twirling hand.
In the kinks is what they're doing.
So I cannot wait to wear this put to the bleachers.
I love that.
It's just so good.
I'm gonna have to get that one.
Yeah. It's just incredible. I just love it so much. And I know it's not everybody's cup of tea, but a guy like me, that really is just right up my alley. This show is brought to you by In the Clutch. It's also brought to you by Matt Kammerer's Permanent Paintings. One lucky Patreon member will win a Matt Kammerer Permanent Paintings Ron Santo print. Oh, that's not it. There it is. There's Ron Santo over the map of Chicago. Just an incredible piece of art.
I might actually just have to buy that one because I'm not eligible to win this. So yeah, I feel like I might have to just go buy that one.
You could be if you subscribe to Patreon, Michael. Then you could win yourself. You'd have a chance, a 1 in 109 people chance to win that incredible. And plus you could also win it In the Clutch t-shirt that you won't have to buy the Frank Chance or the Browns twirling hand. So
I feel like this is that would be like for the lottery for me. I'm just throwing money at it.
So hashtag Chance in the chat, and you could win the Frank Chance postcard sent to me by you with the message of love and doom. But we got to get into, there's some new Cubs. We didn't see them today. They're minor league signings. Of course, it freaked everybody out because everybody's waiting for Cody Bellinger. Instead, we got David Peralta and Dominic Smith. And I saw instantly, IFG, that you were looking into David Peralta and found some great stuff on him.
I'm obsessed. Okay, so like everybody knows, it's almost a meme at this point. If there is a, middle-aged, mediocre corner outfielder, I'm immediately going to be their biggest fan, right? But as far as I can see, he's pretty great. David Peralta is really well loved, especially in Arizona. He was a Diamondback. I have to show this.
Oh, and we know that Tom loves the Diamondbacks, so that makes total sense.
Yeah, Tom Ricketts is a huge Diamondbacks fan. He's like, let's get that Peralta fella. He seems like a real catch.
So in 2020, during the pandemic, I guess, well, first of all, David Peralta, he likes to bring teddy bears to kids at the children's hospital. So he's like the guy, he goes to the children's hospital, he brings teddy bears to the kids. So 2020, pandemic's going on, no people in the stands. Every team is trying to figure out how to make baseball feel a little bit more normal. So David Peralta goes to the team and he's like, what if we filled the entire outfield with teddy bears, put jerseys on them to promote the Diamondbacks youth jerseys program that provides jerseys to underprivileged kids in baseball programs. And every time the Diamondbacks hit a home run into that section, they donated $1,000 to their play ball program.
Oh, that's excellent.
Wasn't there some video of one of these bears getting absolutely destroyed by a ball at some point during that year?
If there's not, I was literally just thinking that, Danny. I was like, oh my God, I want to see what happened when a ball went into the teddy bear land.
We'll have to look that
I
up.
have to go find that. But yeah, no, he's so well loved, especially the kids love him. He does this, like, his nickname is Freight Train. He does this little choo-choo thing around
Ooh,
the
I like
bases.
Freight Train. That's a good
He's a
nickname.
choo-choo guy. So I found this video of him reading nice tweets about himself when he was on the Dodgers, and they had a little choo-choo counter to mark how many times he did the little choo-choo thing. But like, the kids love him. Look, here's a picture of him when he was still on the D-backs, a little girl wearing the number 6 Freight Train shirt. It's adorable. He is so wholesome and delightful, and I don't care if he never hits a baseball in his life. I'm a huge fan.
I mean, he's pretty much outfield depth for the team, which,
yeah.
And I thought about it in two ways, because we pick up Peralta, and I'll put his numbers up, and he's had a long career. I mean, I was kind of shocked when I saw, like, how long it's 10 years in the bigs. He was with Arizona for a long time, and then a little bit of time with the Rays and the Dodgers for a little bit of time last year. I doubt he's going to get back to his 30 home runs that he hit back in 2018, and when he hit 293, had an 868 OPS. I doubt we're getting that guy. With, who we've got now is an OPS plus of 81, 91, slightly below average player, maybe around average, like kind of last bit of what's in the tank. But he's got some slug. He's a lefty. He plays first base. He plays outfield. And I wonder if he, along with Dominic Smith, who also is a depth piece, is there partially to move the hand of Scott Boras to be like, hey, listen, we've got Matt Mervis. We've got this new guy, Bush. And if that doesn't work out and those guys need more time, we've got Peralta, we've got Dominic Smith. Yep. We've got people that can fill this,
Yeah, Danny, I was actually going to bring that up because Danny did a Cubs pod the other day and was talking about this and talking about these minor league signings and what they really mean versus it doesn't mean that we're not getting Bellinger or not trying. It actually is more motivation and more depth in case we don't get him. I thought you did a really good job, and you only get that if you're a Patreon supporter. But Danny put that out the other day. He was walking around the cemetery as he does, talking about this topic, and I thought you did a really good job of explaining what it actually meant when the Twitterverse and social media was going insane.
Well, I can see
their minds.
Well, let me ask you guys. I mean, when you saw these signs, because they happened right next to each other, like Dominic Smith came in, and we saw things like this online, which was hilarious. Uncle Jeff, who is just a great Twitter follow, EB Softball, has that famous Spider-Man meme, and this time there's 7 different Spider-Men, and they're all pointing at each other, and there's Dom Smith pointing at Eric Hosmer. Oh, put it in the swear jar. Yep. Pointing at David Peralta, pointing at Trey Mancini, another swear jar. Pointing at Jonathan VR, pointing at Eric Sogard. Remember him? Andrelton Simmons makes the rounds in here, and it's just like,
I forgot about Andrelton Simmons.
But if you see that these guys is all being the same thing, that's exactly what they are. The problem is these are supposed to be depth signings in case it doesn't work out, that you have somebody to play the position that you need.
The problem is our old manager kept promoting those guys to the starting positions instead of younger players that probably could have grown into those spots and been better.
So let me ask you, is that how you feel about it? Like, IFG is like, when you saw this, were you like, oh God, they're just doing it to us again? Or were you like, actually, this is okay?
I mean, I was the same as I've been for the last few years, which is, deeply understanding on a spiritual level that the Cubs are not probably ever going to sign a star player again as long as I live.
Yeah.
Or at least as long as
top of the
Tom
line,
Ricketts
no.
runs the show around these places. Because why spend $200 million on a player that you know is good when you can spend 50 cents on somebody who's most likely going to be fairly mediocre, when all you really need to be is fairly mediocre to get into the playoffs?
Exactly.
Yep.
And he brought that up in his, it wasn't really a press conference, but it was, you know, all the press were talking him outside of Sloan. And I think what you're referring to is when he brought up the Diamondbacks as pretty much his modus operandi going forward as like the thing to be, which is to win 84 games and go to the World Series somehow in their new participation.
And then lose to a team that spent money.
I was just going to say, I love how he omitted the fact that they lost to the team that spent like $500 million the season before. Like that Rangers team has a lot of money on that team. They are, and lo and behold, they're very good, and they're probably going to be very good again this year. The Diamondbacks, not sure they're going to be very good this year, but the Rangers will be.
Well, I also like this, just real quick. I want to put up about the Dominic Smith signing is that this went out there. I forget who posted this, but it was a meme that I saw going around. It's like, Mom, can we have Cody Bellinger? No, there's Cody Bellinger at home. And then the Cody Bellinger at home is Dominic Smith. Kind of a visual one for the podcast people, but that's pretty much how it feels. And Dominic Smith is like, he's not even as good as Peralta. He had one good year with the Mets, 2020. So he was one of those weird dudes that did awesome when everybody was dying. He was good. But yeah, I mean, he's a lefty. He's got some pop in the bat, 58 career home runs in 600 games. So, you know, but it's not that good. In his whole career, he's got a 97 OPS plus, 721 OPS. He's a decent, you know, utility, you know, he's a usable piece to your team, but he's certainly, you don't want him to be your starter. And I don't think you want Peralta to be your starter at this point in his career either.
Well, and I think that's why these signings didn't really move the needle for me at all, because of what Craig Counsell has been saying. I've been paying attention to that, and the way that he seems to want to run this made me just like, okay, well, yeah, these are just depth guys. They're not signing these guys to be the guys. And in past years, that's what they were doing. And that was terrible. And so I can understand if Cubs fans have some PTSD and they see these signings and then they freak out because, I mean, literally we've had 3-4 years of it where we've had these kind of signings and then those guys are in the starting lineup opening day.
Yeah.
But that's not the way Craig Counsell is going to run this team. And he's made it pretty clear that he wants to see some of these younger guys, but you do have to fill out your team. I mean,
yeah. Well, and they did sign Dansby Swanson last year, who got himself a new nickname this week.
They made their own nicknames up.
Sorry, but you don't get to nickname yourself.
No, you don't.
You just don't.
And also, that's a dumb nickname. I'm sorry. Nickels and Dimes is the stupidest nickname I've ever heard in my life. I don't really know how they came up with it. I guess Nico, it sounds like nickel. I don't know where dime comes from.
That's what I was going to say. Nickel kind of makes sense, but dimes? The D is the only thing that has anything to do with dimes.
Yeah. So yeah, I wasn't really a fan of it, but I did think it was pretty hilarious that they called themselves Nickels and Dimes right after the Dominic Smith and Peralta signings, because people could instantly make hay of that. And so I saw this going on right away, which people photoshopped the Cubs tweeting out a picture of Tom Ricketts and Jed Hoyer that says, say hello to Nickel and Dimes.
That is
so
good.
Good. And speaking of nicknames, did you know that Dominic Smith's nickname is Sloth Bear?
Okay, so we have Sloth Bear and Choo Choo Train. I'm very into this.
We got Sloth Bear, Choo Choo Train, Nickel Dimes.
Well, and maybe
Blue
we can
Head.
get a bunch of those sloth bears to hit baseballs at, like stuffed ones, not real ones, stuffed teddy sloth bears.
Well, it's not. You know, to be a baseball player, an athlete of really any kind, nicknamed Sloth Bear, does not really bode well for your performance on the field. Like, is this guy? I mean, you know, sloth bears, they move slow and they just sit there and eat and sleep.
I honestly don't know what a sloth bear
They
is.
are cute. They're really cute.
It looks like a sloth wearing a bear costume. It's like Halloween for sloths.
Look at its
He's
weird
like, I'm
ass
going to be a
hands.
bear this year. I've never heard of this animal before, but it's awesome looking. It's blue. I didn't know animals were blue.
It just might be the lighting. I think if you look at that sloth bear's weird ass fingers, now if Dominic Smith has hands that look like sloth bear's hands, I could see that being kind of useful on the field.
Those are like Flo Joe fingernails.
Yeah,
That's a shot for the young kids.
Hey, for all you Olympians from the 90s, you know,
Florence Griffith Joyner with those super long fingernails that she had. They were amazing.
Aerodynamic. So anyway,
she would just hack off people's Achilles while they were running.
So the uniforms truly look as terrible as we reported on last week, and we were early on that, by the way. Like, we instantly, like, we led the show with see-through pants and terrible uniforms last week, and boy, and it really took off. Like, all week it just kept avalanching and snowballing. Before it was like on the cover of USA Today, like yesterday or something like that. It's just
yet again, Sun Ranto show, cutting edge of all the topics that make the news much later.
So exactly. Well, they look bad, right? I mean, I saw them in action today, and they look cheap. They make everybody look skinny to me. Oh my God. Yeah, there's Canario.
The 4 is not even in the center of his name, it doesn't look like.
Nope, it's not in the center of the shirt. It's not even straight up and down as far as I can tell on the shirt. The Canario is not centered to the 4.
It looks
the Canario is tiny, itty bitty, teeny tiny little letters. I sometimes buy children's size jerseys because I'm kind of a shorter person. And I think these letters are actually smaller than last year's child size jerseys.
Yeah, and I've noticed that the ladies' jerseys are usually smaller letters too sometimes.
It looks really weird because the numbers are still the same size. Like, maybe if they had made the numbers a little smaller at the same time.
Well, then you wouldn't be able to see shit from the third deck. I mean, you'd just be looking down. Who is that?
Yeah, they really look bad. They look flimsy, and we're being gaslit by MLB right now because MLB is saying that they're the same as last year. They're just the material's the same, everything's the same. You guys aren't noticing. You just forget. I'm like, we're being gaslit. I'm like,
this is what they're saying about the pants, right? About the see-through pants.
The pants. Yeah, they're like, no, they're the same.
Totally the same. I'm sorry. I have had a strong interest in the details of baseball pants for as long as I can remember. If we could see through baseball pants last year, I would have told you.
Exactly. I'm like, oh, well then why did nobody bring it up last year? Because I guarantee they freaking would have.
Yeah, I have never seen pants where you can literally see how long the shirt is.
Yeah,
now,
never seen that before.
Every once in a while, if the Cubs don't really do a solid white pant, right? Our pants have pinstripes on them, so it kind of changes how they appear. But in a solid white pant, anybody who wears a bra regularly will tell you that if you wear a solid white bra under a solid or white shirt, you're going to see the outline, because white shining through white against skin, it's like you'll just see it. But at no point, like last year, could we like read the name written in Sharpie on their Calvins.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Or who wasn't wearing Calvins. I had a tweet go super viral. I mean, this thing really took off, and apparently it got mentioned on Sirius XM Radio Baseball Talk. And like this tweet, I don't know if you saw it, Michael, or IFG. I don't know if you saw what I put out yesterday. So I did in Pat Hughes' voice. And I just tweeted this out. I said, players are wearing blue socks and shoes, see-through trousers, different brands and colors of underwear. And Ron, some players appear to not be wearing underwear. And then I have Cooper say, that's right, Pat.
That's right, Pat.
And everybody loved it. At the time of this, right, it had 1.4 thousand likes on it, and it doubled since then. And so somebody texted, you can't unsee it, or we'll get to that, but you know, the Cubs' new unfortunate slogan.
There's something really interesting to me. You know, the way that that MLB is trying to gaslight us. You know, oh no, pants are same pants. It's been like for forever. Well, one of those pants photos that are going around is actually a nice little object lesson. This one here, we have these nice gentlemen from the Cleveland Guardians. The one on the right. You can see is very plainly wearing some nice like mid-length Nike branded, probably black skivvies there.
Boxer briefs, I would say.
Boxer briefs. And the gentleman on the left, Austin Hedges, who didn't play for the Cleveland Guardians last year, but did the year before that, is wearing a very plainly different uniform. The hem on the sleeve is different. The fabric is different. If you zoom in, it's that nice textured fabric that the jerseys were a couple years ago. You'll note I have no idea what color his underpants are.
You can't tell. Yeah.
Same studio lighting. They are standing right next to each other. I'm sorry, MLB. You are lying to us.
Yeah, you can see his underwear quite clearly through his pants. It is absolutely true. I got an early TFC in a reply. I've just got to bring this up with Jose Orlando Mercado, a longtime ranter and friend down in Puerto Rico. He replied to, I was just dying laughing after he replied to my Pat Hughes tweet like this. He goes, Ron, it appears that Dansby Swanson is wearing a black thong. And then Luke Purcell kept it going. Ron, did you ever wear a black thong back in your playing days? Well, there was this one time, and then it kept going. And Jose says, I was in the middle of a 0 for 30 slump, so I decided to wear a sexy little black G-string that manager Tom Kelly gave me after the bachelor party of our bullpen coach. I went 3 for 4 that day with a home run and 5 RBI. And then he goes, now, Ron, did you find in your Latin career the Latin American players seem to be circumcised at a lower rate than the others as we are seeing on the field today? That's right, Pat. Some things never change. And like this freaking thread just kept going on here. I was crying. I was laughing so hard. Because you can so clearly hear Pat Hughes and Rod Coomer's voice in your head at any time you want to, if you can have them say anything you want, which made me wish that I had like an AI Pat Hughes that would say anything I wanted anytime. Maybe someday we could work on that. Well, can we?
There's one. Did anybody see Adam Jones's tweet?
No.
Somebody says, "Are you glad you retired before MLB introduced see-through pants?" He says, I'd love to be playing, and I didn't wear anything under, so these white pants."
Lots of eyeballs.
Yeah, I mean, can you imagine? Like, I mean, there are definitely branding opportunities. There's some sponsorship, Hanes, Fruit of the Loom, Jockey.
You were talking about the whole black thong thing, but didn't Jason Giambi have the gold thong that they shared? If you were having a slump, there was a gold thong in the clubhouse that you could wear. And nowadays we would know who was slumping just based on what they were wearing.
So true. I think it would be a really good idea, you know, how the guys wear those like compression leggings, you know, to keep themselves warm, keep their blood pumping and stuff. I think it would be great if they took advantage of the transparent uniforms to just wear increasingly insane pattern compression leggings.
They should,
yeah.
just to prove MLB is lying.
Just bananas looking like patterns, big pink hearts.
This totally makes sense for Wrigley in April too. Like, you want to stay warm.
Absolutely. Why not do it wearing like robot armor? Or, you know, the only problem with this, and especially wearing this at Wrigley Field, as we know, is we would have to wonder who the first person is to like be fined for wearing a Venezuelan flag on their pants.
Exactly.
Right.
And Nico and Dansby are going to have to change their nickname to Nickels and Dongs. If
Perfect. You caught her right when she was drinking.
I was sitting on that one for a moment. I was like, oh, I think I got one.
Maybe that is how they got the name. Maybe Dansby's packing a roll of dimes.
Yeah, he's got a roll of dimes. It's not a compliment, Dansby.
Oh Lord.
Yeah. Oh man, it's a.
We are going to hell, guys.
We really are. The last thing I want to bring up about the uniforms, because it really has been wild, is that there's been speculation that we're getting a uniform patch and it'll be a sponsor, and they speculated this because, as you can see, and I don't know if this has anything to do with anything, but you see Imanaga and Seiya Suzuki standing here back to back, and there's nothing on their sleeve. Now today on the game, they had the walking bear on the sleeve, but I guess the other sleeve had nothing. So everybody's saying there's going to be a new uniform patch, and I like IFG's idea to go along with the new pants. We're going to do the Wieners circle. I like
yes.
that. So they can sponsor the pants.
As another pants joke, fully. I think if they're gonna do a sponsored patch on the jersey, in all seriousness, you know, I don't feel as bad about it as a lot of people do. I know there's a lot of people who just are opposed to the idea of putting any, you know, advertisement on the uniform, especially something as iconic and beautiful as the Wrigley Field pinstripes. But yeah, I watch a lot of sports that put a lot of ads on uniforms. It's not going to break my heart all that much. But I do think that if they do it, I like when the uniform advertisement patch that's chosen really fits the team. Like the Rakuten Monkeys have monkey shoulder scotch as their thing. So it says monkey shoulder and there's some monkeys on there, and like it's a whole monkeys thing. So it works. And I think if you're in Chicago and you're putting an ad on the Chicago Cubs, then it should be something that is Chicago related. So I think if you're doing like Malort or the old style logo would look gorgeous.
There were a few, there was a few mock-ups. This guy Johnny at Superbook Unit. I don't know who this guy
I don't think anybody would be mad about the old style logo.
Old
like,
style
looks
beautiful. That looks beautiful. I'm sorry, I kind of want that old style patch. I'm gonna get an old style patch.
That old style does look good. The problem is Budweiser would like lose their shit. They're like, it's our bleachers. You can't have old style.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, those.
Well, then they can buy the advertisement spot on the jersey.
On the sleeve, yeah. And then I like the Vienna beef.
Yeah, but I don't want a Budweiser patch. I want an old style patch.
Still true.
Here's the beautiful thing about our competition that we're having is, you know, our project warning track. As you can see, I'm wearing my captain's hat. This is making its debut on the berm on Monday. As you can see, it's just, and it is my freaking neighbor, Don. He hot glued this to the hat, but he was drunk and it's freaking crooked. He put it on.
That would drive me crazy.
So, yeah, I know it's driving me nuts. So I'm afraid to rip it off because, you know, then I don't want to rip the fabric or anything, but it's fine. I mean, look, is it bothering you that does it look crooked?
I can't tell on camera.
All right. Well, anyway, this is a project warning track hat that I've made, and get an old style patch and sew it on.
I mean, I've got a road gray here. This has got 10 miles of real estate on it. I could put my Lord old style and a wiener circle on this thing.
That's 5XL. But anyway, you can, if you want a jersey without a Budweiser patch on it, you want an old style patch on it, no one's stopping you from doing it. You can just sew one on,
Look, here's the only issue. I think last year the patches, you would have been able to cut them off, but I think this year it's just melted on there, right?
Yeah.
It's just heat stamped on. So you would have to heat stamp something over it, which kind of sucks. Just put your
jersey in the dryer, all the letters will fall off. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
Well, and what are you wearing, IFG? Did you make that? Is this your Morel?
This is a work in progress. Yeah, this is my Christopher Morel. It was a size 5X or something. Yeah. So I've cut it down. This thing went down almost to my knees, right?
Yeah.
So I cut the bottom off and turned that into a hood. And so right now the sleeves are still sleeves, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to split the sleeves, cut them to about half to make them more like flaps. Align the whole thing with this nice warm fleece fabric that I've had in my closet for a long time.
I like that, and I really like how your hood is actually draping on your head. I think that actually.
Yeah, I want to.
It's not as good when you're hiding your face, but
it's a long floppy wizard.
Yeah,
it's not like
that hood is really impressive. I really like that. It's coming along really nicely.
Thank you so much.
Little Red, you need a basket, so you're like Little Red, Little Red Riding Hood.
The whole thought behind this is that the Cubs are coming here to Seattle in April, and it's probably going to be cold outside, and I don't want my Morel jersey to be covered up by a jacket. So I'm just going to make the jersey my outerwear. It'll be nice.
Well, Bernie Barron says cute. I agree. I think it looks great.
Thank you, Bernie.
Corey Furlong in the chat talking about the underwear jerseys. This banana hammock sponsored by Chiquita Bananas. Oh God, we're really going there. So anyway, we're in for some changes, but hey, maybe that
there's a new banana ball in town.
Maybe those patches can cover up some of the things that need covering up on the new jerseys. There'll be strategically placed patches on the pants to cover up.
That's why, the wiener circle right where you need it.
Right where you need it.
Right. Oh, that would be perfect.
Anyway, this season's off to a freaking awesome start. Rogue Wave Creative says Manscaped sponsorship.
Don't let them see what you got.
Good
Manscaped.
Stuff. Well, we're going to take another quick break, and we're going to talk about the Cubs' new slogan. And please become a Patreon supporter and join us on the Discord. It's Patreon only over there. We're going to hang out after the show tonight and talk a little bit more about everything that's going on with baseball, especially the idea of the concept of realignment. But I do want to say that there's a lot of stuff that you can buy through the Ranto links. And so what you do is you go to sunranto.com/stuff for Amazon, sunranto.com/shopping for MLB, Fanatics, lids, Fans Edge, all sorts of stuff. There's even freaking condoms that you can buy over there. So why don't you just, if you're shopping for anything Cubs related, please think of us. If you shop on Amazon, please think of us and go to sunranto.com and do it. So we're going to play a couple quick commercials just to remind everybody out there in Patreon land to do it. So
hey, Danny, real quick though, let's
you're right. But we're going to do, because we forgot at the last break, the
Who's That
Cubby!
All right. We got a pitcher, and generally pitchers are really hard, but I feel like this one might be easy for people.
Yeah, high laid kick. For the podcast listeners, this guy has his leg he's a righty pitcher, and his leg is quite high up, and you can see the Reynolds wrap tarp in the background. So it's been it's since that's been a sponsor, so it's not a real old. I think I might know who this is. High leg kick. Think of who it might be. So when we come back, we'll tell you who it is. But please answer in the chat if you think you know right now, and hashtag chance in the chat, of course. As always, we'll be right back.
Stuff. Hey, Cubs fans, at Amazon.com, do you buy lots of stuff? Why not support the Son Ranto Show by shopping through sonranto.com/stuff? All you gotta do is fill your cart at Amazon with lots of stuff. Then before you check out with all of that wonderful stuff, head on over to sonranto.com/stuff and click any of our Amazon links before you buy your stuff. Check out like you normally would with all that beautiful stuff. And the Son Ranto Show will get a small kickback because of the stuff you bought. And you'll be helping the Son Ranto Show buy all the stuff we need to stay on the air talking about the Cubs and other stuff. Plus, you could win a monthly prize if some of your is chosen for Amazon stuff of the month. And if you win, we'll send you more stuff. Sonranto.com/stuff. That address again is sonranto.com/stuff.
Do you ever find yourself longing for long walks and talks about Ketchermetrics? How about a coffee over run differential? Maybe a candlelit dinner dissecting what exactly is the curious case of Miles Mastrobuoni? If you have, I have just the place for you, the Cubs PS Plus podcast. Come join us. Cubs PS Plus, a Northside numbers game, can be found wherever it is you get your podcasts, and on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, all at Cubs PS Plus, a spin on the baseball metric OPS Plus. Are you ready? I'm ready. Here we go.
And we are back. So we had a lot of correct answers in the chat here about who this was. And let's see, we'll just pick one of them here. Tom Cooper was correct.
He was the first one. It's Jake Arrieta. Now,
there it is.
I thought this would be a little bit easier for people because of the hat. His, back when he was with the Cubs, that flat bill hat and beard was kind of his silhouette was kind of a big deal.
Yeah. So, good job, everybody. We had a couple of correct answers out there. Who else had a correct answer? Dominic had a correct answer. CM Spooner said Kerry Wood, incorrect. And Bernie Barron chimed in, no clue. She had no idea who it was. So
the pictures are really hard. I thought, like, using that one, I thought maybe it would be a little easier because of the hat thing, but obviously I'm the only one that remembers the whole Jake Arrieta silhouette hat thing.
So the Cubs, they unleashed their new slogan for the 2024 campaign. And, it was not without, let's say, some unfortunate controversy that happened right away. I'll just put up the picture here real quick. It's you have to see it. But when it was on Twitter and you saw it, kind of up close, let me put it up kind of how it looked, because the capital I of it looks like an L, so it looks like it says you have to clit. And so everybody,
it's just good advice.
It really is.
It's great advice for everybody. But it's just hilarious to me that not only would it's because it's the letter C and then the capital I and then T for the podcast listener, if you didn't know about any of this stuff. But it's like the thing is, for then the Cubs changed it because they're like, oh God, we screwed up. It looks like it says clit. Oh God, oh no, what did we do? Now, what they could have done, instead of just giving in to us immature idiots who I mean, because really, we were being immature, like we were, like we were 10 years old. You know what I mean? Like laughing at this stuff. They could have just gone like, "You guys, please grow up." But
Just
instead,
don't
like,
even mention it. Just
Certainly, the thing you shouldn't have done was acknowledge it by changing it.
changing it. Yeah, so they changed it to see it. But meanwhile, it turns out that, you know, when they ran a ticket like promotion where they were giving away free tickets to April games, and they've got a ton of printed materials that have, well, it's the regular it's the thing that I put up before with that it's you have to see it, which is more obvious when it is put in this way. But it's only on Twitter where it looks like it says you have to clit. But I thought this was funny. Robin Nettis, who's a ranter and a very great like longtime Bleacher Bum, she said in reference to the Cubs' new slogan, "The men will never find it, obviously, or this would have never been approved." And Craig Sturdivant says, "Find what?"
You know what this reminds me of? Okay, I watch a lot of baseball. In MPB, one of the teams that I watch a lot of is the Chunichi Dragons. It's the team that Kosuke Fukudome played on when he retired. And there was one year they dropped their slogan. You know, they are the Chunichi Dragons. And so they did their slogan announcement for the year. Grab the D. Apparently it's a little blue.
I love how the guy, like the picture of the guy in the
He's
background,
sitting in the dark, like on the edge of his bed, like pointing.
And it looks like he's using
downward. He looks very ashamed of himself.
and he looks like he's using two hands to grab the D.
You know,
he's very impressive.
Very efficient. And I begged, I pleaded, I said, "Please, dear God, nobody tell them until I get a t-shirt."
Oh my God, that's amazing. That's
kind of somebody did tell them and they changed it to like one blue or something, but grab the D.
I do wonder if Joe at Obvious Shirts would make me "you have to clit" shirt. I don't know. I mean, I might get kicked out of the stadium for wearing it, but you know, I kind of want one. It's a little dirty. I don't know, but I think it should be our slogan. I just like every time
I think if you went into Obvious Shirts where they have their little make your own t-shirt thing, and you have to see big capital C, capital I, capital T, and just forget the space. I bet it would fly.
You know what? I think that should be in our Amazon store right next to our bull penis sucks.
Our bull penis terrible. Yeah.
Our bull penis. Awesome. Yeah. But I mean, I think it would fit right in with that. You could clit.
Yeah. But we have to pronounce it that way. And at least it's not the other C word, which would be probably too dirty to say on like a regular basis in mixed company, you know, but you know, this one, it's a little less dirty, but I think we should use it.
I just picture, little kids in the bleachers. "Daddy, what's a clit?" And he goes, "I have no idea, son."
Yeah, no,
right.
I don't know what you're saying. He said hit. He said they need a hit. You know, come on, we need a big clit right now. You know, instead of, just yell that from the bleachers like every time we need a big play or something. I think this could really be the year for it. So, and hey, maybe it'll be good for that kid to learn something. So that's how I learned out in the bleachers about such things. It wasn't all good, but I did think it was funny. We really are off to a great start. The lineup was great today. The slogan is great. The uniforms are see-through. Like, this might be the most hilarious season ever. I'm so excited.
I was watching the White Sox, right? I don't know how many times they mentioned that they have 69 players in camp.
Nice.
And every time they said it, I'm like, how is Steve Stone not saying nice every time that it was the new guy and he's a younger guy? And I have to believe he knew exactly what he was doing because he said it like 8 or 9 times. at different points during the game.
So many. I see in the chat here that Corey is asking, did we talk about the Lauren Wisdom tweet? That's Cubs Fan Central.
Do you know about the Lauren Wisdom tweet?
Well, is something about Patrick Wisdom being her dad or
no? Well, she gets that one a lot.
Yeah, or her husband. They thought that she was Patrick Wisdom's wife or something like that. Yeah.
He was asking. Okay, hold on. Let me see here.
Yeah, what happened?
Oh wow.
Here? I'm looking at Cubs.
Here we go. I got it. I'll screenshot you.
Okay.
As we're waiting for the screenshot to come through.
Oh.
I thought he was talking didn't we talk about Lauren Wisdom last week? Too?
She was at Cubs caroling, if you recall.
I remember she was at Cubs caroling, but
yeah.
Oh, she had somebody's. I thought she had somebody's jersey last week, or maybe that was somebody else.
So she goes out for to pick up her free Cubs tickets. She shares a picture of herself with the Cubs ticket thing, and this guy drops this. He says, "I'd do anything to meet your husband. He and I were born on the exact same day, in the exact same month of the exact same year. Please, if I come to a Cubs game this year, which I plan to do, can we meet with you at the dugout area, please? I'll bring snacks."
Oh my God.
I love that he'll bring snacks. That's the way you end it right there. I'll bring snacks.
Just like, Patrick Wisdom is not my husband.
Oh my God.
Bless her heart.
That is tough though. If you've got the same last name and you're a big Cubs fan, and if your last name was Sandberg, it's not the most common name, and Wisdom isn't the most common name in the world either, I would say.
Well, that's her new obvious shirt. Patrick Wisdom is not my husband.
Well, sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, Lauren's dad, Dan Wisdom, is a longtime Bleacher Bum as well. Kid, Lauren Wisdom, is young. She's like in her early 20s. Her dad is like my age, and he's been in the bleachers this whole time. And he's also a great Twitter follow as well. So he should get in on.
There it is.
Obvious shirts printed her up. Patrick Wisdom is not my husband's shirt. That's amazing. I think it's the wrong size though. I mean, XL.
Yeah, XL. She needs to get into the Project Warning track.
Yeah,
that'll never fit her.
Yeah, okay. Maybe
that'll
it'll
fit her dad.
I don't think it'll even fit her dad. Or dad. I would peg him as a large, maybe an XL. I don't know.
Phrasing. We're just done with that, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, we'll have to see him in baseball pants to find out, I guess. So. Anyway, that's hilarious. So that's what I'm saying. This season has started out hilariously, and it gives me a lot of hope for our show. I'll tell you that much. We got the lineup of our dreams to start the season. I'm
excited. Yeah,
and everything's freaking hilarious. So it's like I really couldn't think of a better way to start things out. I know it's not gonna all go like this, but I'm fine with it right now.
I'm in a way better mood this year than I was last year. Last year was brutal. It was terrible from the get-go. I was thinking that they were going to only win like 71 games, I think I chose. But no, I feel a lot better about this team because it feels like they're working in the right direction. And even if they don't have the greatest season, we'll know what the hell we have and we can move forward.
It's like I said, do I think that the Cubs this year are going to win the World Series? No. Do I think they'll be fun and pretty? Yeah. Yeah. And that's really all I'm here for.
And even if they get close to it, or they give you some hope that it could happen, is there an animal?
What is that noise?
My dog, he loves these little latex squeaky balls. He carries them around like they're his children. But he is rolling around on the squeaky ball right next to me.
Nice. So yeah, I feel the same. I think it's going to be fun, and I don't know. I like watching the kids play. It's everything we wanted, and I know there's going to be some growing pains here, and that as Theo said, development is not linear. I understand all that, but it's also really fun to watch. Where, like, even if they do screw up and get picked off first base every now and again, or make a dumb base running play, or overrun a ball, or all the dumb things that the kids will do when they're out there, they're going to do some exciting things that might make up for all that stuff. So
and okay, great. Development is not linear. That's fine. But let us see where they're at in their development. Like, let's see what they can do out there and see if they can actually make it. And that's the thing we've been asking for. I mean, it's not like last year was the first time we said, let's watch the kids play. We've been saying it since Blue Friday. We're like, well, if you're not going to play the players, you're not going to pay the guys to stick around, you're not going to go get better players, like, let's just start playing the younger guys so at least we can get to know some of these guys, learn about them and like them and have them on the team for a while, rather than the, Cody Bellinger, which we loved 1 year, well, that didn't help us much.
Yeah, if the only way we're allowed to keep a player around long enough that we like them is to grow them up from scratch, then I want to actually see them do the growing up part.
Yeah, you have to clit. That's what they say.
You've got to clit. I mean, I think that's been the problem this whole time.
Yeah,
David Ross was there for 4 years and he just never clit.
He was dicking around, and we should have been clitting.
You can't dig around all the time. You gotta clit somewhere. You gotta clit before you can dick. That's all I'm saying.
Exactly. I mean, and we should have known. We should have known this was coming when he was with the team in 2016. His whole thing was dick bumps. He doesn't know clit. He knows dick bumps.
He doesn't know.
Oh, that's my obvious shirt. You don't know clit. That's it.
You don't know clit? There you go.
If Joe Madden was still around, it'd be try not to clit. Oh, God. Well, before we go totally off the rails, which I believe we've got a few times already, but I do think it's going to be a fun year, and I want to remind everybody we are doing Ranter Fest. Tickets are not on sale yet, but it is going to be May 31st through June 2nd. We're also going to be at the ball game up in Milwaukee the day before. All that happens on May 30th. So that's just going to be a blast. We're celebrating our 1,000th episode at Almost Home. Also at Output Lounge, we're going to have some comedy. So just save that weekend. Plan to be in town. They're giving away an incredible Christopher Morel bobblehead on a rare Saturday night game. We're just going to have a lot of fun. I'm planning on
celebrating my first home win at Wrigley Field.
Yeah, and we're going to sit in the bleacher, so get yourself a bleacher ticket. Just like, I'm just going to keep hounding that. We're all kind of getting our own thing. We'll meet up out there. There's too many people to keep track of. So, we're just all sitting in the bleachers, figure it out. I will be at the games in Mesa / Phoenix on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. I don't know if I'll go Wednesday. Probably not, because that game's far away or something. It's like Maryvale with the Brewers. Now, as much as I want to see Craig Counsell go to the Brewers spring training camp and see all the Brewers fans be sad about it, much as I'd like that, I'm just going to let that. I want that first time I do that to actually be in Milwaukee. So
do we really believe Brewers fans show up in Arizona when they won't even show up in Milwaukee?
Yeah, it probably will be mostly Cub fans there too. I guess that is true. So do we have a Cubsler, and we have a Cubsler winner, and hashtag chance in the chat, by the way, again.
Yeah, well, we had 4 people who got this one correct. And it was kind of a tough one, but it makes sense here. So this is last week's Cubsler, and it reads: a PR first, but broke no barrier. 128 gigabyte DDR5. 2 pokes from a rose, a Sosa before Sammy. And the correct answer was Hiram Bithorn. And so if you want to know how to get that answer, a PR first, he was the first Puerto Rican Major League Baseball player, but he broke no barriers because he passed as white. So when he came into the league, there was still a color barrier, and because he was light-skinned enough, it didn't bother him. Now,
And his name was Hiram. That helps you.
yeah, well, that's the next clue, Danny. 128 gigabyte DDR5, that's high RAM in your computer. That would be a lot of RAM.
Yeah, I only got 16 gigabytes, I think.
Yeah, and 2 pokes from a rose, 2 as in bi, and pokes from a rose, thorn. You get bithorn. And then you also Sosa before Sammy because his actual birth name is Hiram Gabriel Bithorn Sosa because that was his family name. But by the time he made it to the majors, he had shortened it down to Hiram Bithorn. So
And
that's how you got to.
I wrote a song about him. It's called Hiram Bithorn, and I will play it at the end of the show to go along with the Cubsler. How about well, should we pick the winner, or should we do this week's Cubsler? I don't know. I never know what order we do this.
Let's pick the winner, and then we'll follow it up with the new Cubsler.
Okay.
If you're ready. If you're not ready, I can do the new Cubsler.
I am ready. We have 4 winners, or 4 correct answers: Scott Sowers, David Elliott, Justin Kaufman, and Jeff Bjorn. I thought there were more. Did we miss any? I don't know. But here we go.
I don't think so. If you did not, if you had a correct answer and I didn't have you in here for some reason, I'll put you into next week's. But I don't think so.
Scott Sowers is the winner. Congratulations.
Oh, and Scott Sowers is a 2-time winner now.
And we are keeping track of this. We're going to give a prize away at the end of the year in our end of the year extravaganza Christmas show.
Yeah, we're keeping. I've got a list of everybody's names, and not only that, you do get a voicemail featuring me calling your name like Son Ranto. It drives Danny nuts because it comes into the feed, and for some reason, he feels like he has to listen to it.
No. Here's what happens. I'm sleeping, and the podcast is going. I'm listening to some boring history show. I fall asleep, and it's very relaxing for me. And then in the autoplay, it just keeps playing, and it comes up with our show. And sometimes it's your voice screaming some dude's name in my freaking ear, and I'm like, and I'm just like the worst way to wake up. So I'm just never gonna enjoy that. I don't think.
Well, you're gonna love the one. I've got a second one for Chris Salato coming up. It's gonna drop on Sunday. But I will get
make sure
a new one for Scott Sowers done here soon too. All right, so this is the new Cubsler, the Cubsler for next week. If you want to get in on this one, it might be easier. I think. I don't know. I never know which ones are going to be easier or not, it seems like. But here we go. Mostly holding, rarely hammering. A mad dog's favorite target. He broke good in Albuquerque and 11 different MLB cities.
Oh, wow.
So, okay. So, mostly holding, rarely hammering. A mad dog's favorite target. He broke good in Albuquerque and 11 different MLB cities.
And we'll be posting these on the Son Ranto Show Twitter and on Facebook and all those fun places. And IFG with the answer in our private chat here. I'm not sure if it
is incorrect.
I had a feeling.
Good guess though. I didn't even guess. I'm with Bertie Barron. I have no idea. Like that's my answer. I don't know.
Yeah, this one's a little on the obscure side, but some of these things should get you there if you know. If you know where I'm going with some of these, but like all these, I mean, they do make sense. You just gotta work out what it means.
You gotta do the clues.
And most people look them up. They tell me. I ask them, "How'd you figure it out?" And they say, "Oh, well, I knew this, and so I knew this one thing." And so then I started to search the internet for that one thing, and then that led me to these other things. A lot of people...
It's like a whodunit mystery, or like an episode of the X-Files, where Mulder's got to get into his little file cabinet and learn why the cows have spots on them.
Yeah, a lot of people really thought it was Aramis Ramirez, and they were following that thread, trying to figure it out.
Maybe that's why I thought there were more correct answers. There were just a lot of answers, but a bunch were wrong.
Yep.
So sunranto@gmail is where you send your correct answers. And you could also send in your correct answers to the Sunranto Show Twitter, not my Twitter, the Sunranto Show Twitter. Because my DMs are full of people offering me millions of dollars to work for them. But I say no, I'm doing the Sunranto Show. I'm busy.
Maybe you should say yes to like one of them.
One of those. You'd think I would. But I do have one TFC. I don't know if anybody has one, but I thought this was interesting. The Cubs this week, this is this Flexing Cube, if you're not familiar with TFCs. The Cubs are releasing a special ticket heritage cap series. So they've got caps that they're giving out, or you have to pay and get a special ticket. Mexican heritage, Caribbean American heritage, Puerto Rican, Greek, Italian, Irish, and Polish. And I, being the smart ass I am, retweeted them and I said, well, when is got off the Mayflower and spread smallpox cap? And Bill Suga says it's a blanket giveaway.
That was very funny.
And I that was the greatest thing I saw all week.
To that point, if anybody wants to go to that August 21st game and isn't planning on keeping a hat, I would love that Irish heritage cap. Please let me buy your ticket.
Yeah. Okay. So here's the thing about these. I like this idea, and I like sort of the color combos for these hats, but they're not pictures of the hats. They're drawings. I don't know that these are actually going to look good. I'm a little worried about it. And the other thing is, where is Caribbean America? I didn't know that there was a flag for that.
U.S. Virgin Islands.
But there's not like one single flag that just covers all of these hats. For the podcast listeners, all of these hats have the colors of these different flags. And then under the bill, they actually have sort of the flag on there. And so the Caribbean American Heritage cap confuses me because I don't know what that flag might be.
Well, good thing you're not going to buy it anyway.
Maybe that's like the one I want. You don't know me. You haven't done 23andMe with me. I said me a lot.
Hold on.
What were you saying, IFG?
It looks to me, and I'm just figuring this out as we're talking about it, but it looks like that cap might not be an actual flag, but it does look like it is inspired by the colors of the flag of the U.S. Virgin Islands, which is this. So you have the pale blue, you've got that gold color from the eagle, and that's what that is. But yeah, so you have the Caribbean American there. Let's see, the Greek. Yeah, the Greek ones. Everything is a flag, but the Caribbean American heritage cap. But to be honest, like,
so you're saying that somebody in the PR department actually realized it wouldn't be good to say a Virgin Islands heritage cap?
Well, I think there are people from other.
I'm just meaning
Caribbean islands who are American as well. Like there are people
Puerto Rico,
who were born in Curacao, or
I'm just meaning the same people who gave us "you have to clit" didn't want to go with Virgin Islands heritage. I don't know why not.
Migraine cotton. Anyway, somebody go get me that Irish hat. I want it.
I was gonna say like, oh God, it's the new DH. It's forgotten. He's just like, I don't understand the Virgin. I understand that. And I'm like, no, please do not get on this again.
No, well, I actually, I failed to make the joke so that you guys got it the first time. So then, as any good comedian knows, you just keep saying the joke until somebody gets
drive
it.
it into the ground. It'll be
drive
funny
that shit in the
eventually if you say
ground.
it often enough.
Yeah, and until the club is empty and you've driven everybody out of that room, absolutely.
And-
So, well, hashtag chance in the chat. We've got another TFC. Great.
Yeah, just one more for me. An update on that Razorbacks game.
Oh yeah.
Tyler Jennings here says, what I just saw was the most dominant outing I've ever seen, and shows a video of all 17 strikeouts. Hagen Smith touched 99 early, sat 95 to 97 a lot, plus his mid-80s slider racked up 15 Ks alone. Flashed an upper 80s changeup, 8 fastball whiffs, 17 slider whiffs. And Cespedes Barbecue follows up with says, and he did it against an Oregon State who entered tonight undefeated, hitting 331, 452, 675 with 14 home runs through 5 games against much weaker competition. But still, Smith's one of several college starting pitchers at the top of the 24 draft with truly outrageous stuff, just about throwing strikes and staying healthy.
And it doesn't look cold, by the way, how I was hypothesizing earlier. Everybody's in short sleeves.
Well, they are in Arkansas.
Yeah.
Right?
But I was hypothesizing that it was cold, and I was incorrect. It was fake news. Hashtag fake news.
Fake news coming out of Arkansas? What are you talking about, Danny?
Hashtag chance in the chat, though. I will say that much. And you can win a Frank Chance postcard sent to you by me. I'm going to try to sell this Chance t-shirt one more time. It's over at In the Clutch, 10% off with code SunRanto. But put your hashtag chance, and I will share my screen right now. We will pick a winner.
Winner, chicken dinner.
Exactly. Here we go. I'm picking one. Here it goes. Round and round she goes. Where she stops, only the Chance knows. And the winner is Maggie May.
Hey, congrats, Maggie May.
Maggie, you couldn't have tried anymore. Oh, you put Chance in the chat. Then you won Chance in the chat. And now I'm gonna send a Chance pokes on to you. You know that song, right?
Oh yeah, that was a brilliant Rod Stewart, right?
Look at me playing the mandolin.
The greatest Rod Stewart impression ever.
Exactly. Good night, Danny. I've had a lovely evening. Unfortunately, this one wasn't it. So that's an old Groucho Marx line. I freaking love it. This has been brought to you by Bleacher Bunch Productions. Please leave us a rating at Bleacher Bunch in any of your podcast catchers that you listen to the show. It really helps us out. Our 109 Patreon supporters, of course, Matt Cameron's Permanent Paintings, In the Clutch shirts, Blake Beard's tickets, Rogue Wave Creative, Mike Waller and the Cubs PS Plus podcast. Check us out on all of the social medias at SunRanto, and
tell your friends.
Tell your friends. And as, of course, our good friend David Kaplan is prone to say from time to time,
Boo Cog! Or Go Cubs. Backwards.
I love it.
Spagog.
Spagog!
See you on Discord.
On the island of Puerto Rico, a little bitty baby was born. Se llama Hiram Gabriel, su apellido fue Bethorn. Hiram was a pitcher. He grew up big and strong. Made it up to Los Cachorros, but he didn't last too long. He was Hiram Bithorn, el primer boricua que jugó en los grandes ligas. Pero Hiram's life fue corto, and he couldn't play his sporto como un muerto beisbolista. Eram had a great year. He went 18-12. Se unió el army, and it all went to hell. La Guerra Dos was over. Eram tried to come back. Su brazo estaba perdido. He'd gotten weak and fat. He was Eram Bidhorn, el primer boricua que jugó en los grandes ligas. Pero Eram's life fue corto, and he couldn't play his sporto como un muerto beisbolista. Como un muerto beisbolista. Cinco años luego, in 1951, Eram went to Mexico and ran into a gun. Llevado por un policía, Eram Bidhorn got shot. He died un día luego. 8 years jail for the cop. He was Eram Bidhorn, el primer boricua que jugó en los grandes ligas. Pero Eram's life fue corto, and he couldn't play his sporto como un muerto beisbolista. Como un muerto beisbolista. Peace, Puerto Rico.